Hey you guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to be trying out the brand new Anastasia Beverly Hills Holiday 2021 palette. This is the Primrose palette. In today's video, I'm going to be creating these two eye looks for you guys. I'm also going to show you guys close-ups and swatches of all of the shades in the palette. So I hope you guys are all excited about today's video. If you are, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, let's go ahead and do close-ups and swatches of all of the shades in the palette. So this is the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Primrose palette, and the price is $55. Here's what the actual palette itself looks like. It is such beautiful packaging. I love the texture on it, and the little metallic side pieces right here are so cute. So let's go ahead and open it up. So here are the shades in the palette. So this is an all-in-one palette. Basically, you can use this on the eyes as well as the face. So it says that you can use the shades Honey, Rouge, and Deep Berry to add definition and warmth to the face. Then the shade Rosewater, Sparkling Amber, Peony, and Fire Opal can be used to create a metallic lip. That is interesting. And then the shades Primrose, Mango, Claret, and Deep Berry can be used as blush. So now I'm going to swatch all of the shades in the palette. First up, we have Rosewater, Honey. The pigmentation so far is very good. Sparkling Amber, another stunning metallic shade, Primrose. This one is like a matte with a little bit of glitter in it, Mango. The mattes are swatching very nicely. Peony. Beautiful. I love shades like this. It's kind of like a pink with gold glitter in it. Rouge. Fire Opal. This shade, oh my gosh, it actually feels like a cream. Like, look at that. Oh, that was a really big swatch, but that is insane. Like, look at my finger still. Wow. Deep Berry. Okay, that one did not swatch the best. Everything else swatched beautifully except for that shade so far. Claret. Then we have these last two shades, which are bigger pans. I'm assuming you can use these as either blush or bronzer. I don't think that this bronzer shade would work for my skin tone. I honestly don't really think it would work for that many skin tones. And then this also would work for me, but probably not for a lot of people because it is so light. So we're going to swatch Grapefruit first. Yeah, that's a very, very light peachy shade. If you couldn't make it work for blush, you could definitely use it as an eyeshadow, but I feel like it was intended to be a blush with how big the pan size is, and that just is only gonna match super fair people. And the last shade is called Saddle. If this is supposed to be a bronzer, it is a very warm, very orangey kind of terracotta shade. So yeah, here are all of the shades in the palette. I actually think that these shades are really pretty, and I feel like the quality definitely felt really nice. So I'm actually excited about this Anastasia palette. I haven't been excited about a palette from them in quite a while. So now we're gonna move over into the demo part of the video. I'm gonna be showing you guys how I created this look. I used some of the shades on the face, on the lips, and then I created these two eye looks for you guys. All right, so we are up close and personal here. I hope this is close enough. Someone commented on my last video saying that they wanted me to be a little bit closer to the camera whenever I film reviews. So let me know if this is close enough for you guys. I don't have like a zoom lens, so I have to move my camera back and forth. So we're gonna go ahead and try out the palette. So since this is an all-in-one palette, I'm gonna try and use like these shades on the face, and then we'll try some of the metallics for highlighter. So I'm pretty sure this is meant to be a bronzer. It's definitely not gonna match my skin tone, but we're gonna try it. So I'm just gonna go in like super light-handed on a brush. Oh boy. And we're just going to try and blend this. I don't think this is going to work on my skin tone like at all. Yeah, this is definitely just a little bit too like orangey and warm for my skin tone. I could make it work. I'm going in like super light-handed and then tapping off my brush and kind of just tapping it on and then blending out. I really don't see this shade matching that many people as a bronzer. The only good thing is it seems to blend pretty easily. I just don't like how kind of orangey it looks. That's my only issue. All right, so that's all we're gonna do for like the bronzer. Honestly, I thought it was going to end up worse than it did. So far so good. Now I'm going to use the shade Grapefruit as blush. Definitely very pigmented. I'm going to kind of tap on both sides and then we'll blend. It actually is showing up darker on my face than I thought it was going to. This type of blush shade is like right up my alley. I really like shades like this that are kind of like light and peachy. So this works perfectly for me, but I know this will probably not work for a lot of people. So those actually blended very nicely. They're not patchy or anything like that. They have a really good amount of pigmentation. I've kind of gone over everything with a like bigger fluffy brush, and I just feel like everything looks nice and blended. This cheek I just applied a little bit too much blush, I think. So I'm thinking the shade Rosewater is probably the only shade that I would personally be able to use as a highlighter because my skin tone is pretty fair. So I'm just gonna lightly dip my brush in. Okay, it's definitely working. Very pink toned. I'm not like super big into pink highlighters. I just like a more like champagne or like golden type of highlight, and this is very pink. All right, so I went ahead and primed my lids. Now we're going to move over into some eyeshadow looks. So I'm first gonna grab the shade called Rouge, and we're just gonna do my like signature eye look, of course. I'm just going to take this shade and stamp it all along the crease just to kind of map out the shape of my eye. You do not want to go too high with the darker shades, and this is going to look like pretty bad until the end. I always have to say that in all of my videos because it's going to look rough until we cut the crease. Now I'm going to take the shade called Saddle, and I'm just going to kind of tightly blend the shade right above the first shade that we put down. This is just the type of look that you kind of have to just trust the process here and keep blending until everything actually looks decent. So I'm just going to keep blending the shade along the edges. I'm not really going to add any extra product to the brush. We're just going to keep blending this out. And now I'm going to take the shade called Mango, and once again I'm going to blend right above the last shade that we put down. So I'm also going to add those same shades along the lower lash line that we just put in the crease. So first starting with the darkest shade, then I'm gonna add like kind of the medium brown called Saddle, and I'm just gonna blend it backwards. Then I'm gonna take Mango on a little fluffy brush and just blend all along the lower lash line just to kind of blend everything together. So now I'm gonna take some concealer on like a small kind of flat brush, and we're just going to kind of carve out the shape of the crease so that the metallic shades stand out more on the lid, and it just kind of adds like a nice tacky base for them to stick to. So first for the lid, I'm going to take the shade called Sparkling Amber, and I'm just going to start pressing this on the lid, starting in the inner corner and blending backwards. These metallics in this palette are actually like very metallic. I do not remember the Anastasia formula being like this. So this shade is really pretty, but there is quite a lot of fallout with that. Now I'm gonna take some of Fire Opal, and this is the one that's swatched like so nicely, and I'm just gonna put this on the rest of the lid. It's also going on really well with a brush, so these shades that are like metallic like this in this palette are really good. All right, so here is eye look number 1 complete. Based on my first impressions, I feel like the mattes are very pigmented and blend beautifully, and the metallics go on really nicely with a brush, which I love. The only other like really good metallic formulas that I can think of that apply really nicely with a brush that I personally love are from ColourPop and BH Cosmetics. These went on beautifully. I just feel like the quality is definitely here with this palette, at least so far. I'm actually really surprised because I haven't really liked an Anastasia palette in a while. So this one is, I feel like, pretty surprising to me. So now we're gonna go over into the more like berry and like pinky purpley shades. So first up, I'm gonna grab a Deep Berry, and I'm just going to do the same thing, kind of mapping out the shape of my crease. This shade did not swatch the best, but it's going on fine on the eyes. Gonna try not to go too high with this. I always like accidentally bring it up too high and then it ruined the look. So now I'm gonna take the shade called Claret, and we're just gonna very tightly, like super close to that deep berry shade, blend along the edges. Gosh, these mats are so pigmented. I'm like pretty impressed so far. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the shade called Primrose. This one does have some of those glitters in it. I kind of hope that they blend away because I'm not like the biggest fan of glitter in the crease. So the glitter does seem to blend away for the most part. You can like lightly see some glitter in there in the crease, which does bother me, but it's not bad. Like from far away, you definitely can't tell. So now I'm going to take the shade called Honey, and we're just going to start blending right above the last shade. So now, just like the other eye, I'm going to add those same shades on the lower lash line, first starting out with the kind of like deep, well, it's called deep berry shade. And we're going to keep this one closest to the lash line. Then I'm going to kind of mix those two shades that I used next in the crease called Claret and Primrose. And I'm just going to start blending these along the lower lash line as well. Then on my fluffy brush, I'm going to grab the shade Honey and just kind of blend all under those shades to blend everything out. So I went ahead and cut my crease off camera. Now we're going to add some of the metallics to the lid. So I'm first going to take the shade called Rose Water, and this one's just going to go right in the inner corner. This is the shade that we used on the face as a highlighter, and I definitely prefer it as an eyeshadow. I'm actually like so impressed with the formula of these metallic shades. I really don't think any of their other palettes have shades like that are this creamy and metallic. I just really like the formula so far of these. Now I'm going to use the shade called Peony. I'm just going to put this shade all over the rest of the lid. Some of these shades do have quite a bit of fallout, so if that bothers you, you might want to do your eyes first. Alright you guys, so here are both eye looks complete. I actually love the way that they both turned out. That doesn't normally happen with palettes. I feel like most of the time I only like one eye look that I created, and this time I actually really like how both of them turned out. So now really quickly before we wrap up this video, I do want to test out a few more things. So I did mention that this shade could be used as like a bronzer for fair skinned people like me. So we're gonna dip into this a little bit and just see if we can kind of build up our like contour bronzer area. I definitely feel like this shade is better for me than the big pan in the palette. So if you're pretty fair, you might want to try the shade Honey instead of the bigger shade. And then the last thing that I read about is that you can use like the metallics on the lips. So I think I'm gonna grab maybe a little bit of rose water. Okay, not bad. I'm not really into like metallic lips, but you can definitely do that with these shades. The metallics have like a very creamy formula, so I can definitely see how they would recommend to use these like as a lip topper. All right, you guys, so I'm actually like really shocked with how much I'm liking this palette. Whenever I saw the pictures, I immediately wanted to buy it just because it was something a little bit different from Anastasia. I feel like they haven't released anything in like a long time that I've been excited about except for this palette. And looking at the pictures, I thought that the colors were kind of muted and just boring, but whenever I open this up, I feel like in real life the colors look a lot more vibrant, and they are definitely like very pigmented. The mattes and the metallics in here I feel like are better than their other palettes. I don't know if they changed the formula or what is going on with these, but these are like the best Anastasia eyeshadows that I've personally tried. I think that the mattes just performed beautifully. They had the perfect amount of pigmentation, but also blended really great. Sometimes shadows can be like super pigmented and hard to blend. These are really pigmented, but they're very easy to blend. And then the metallics are like my favorite kind of metallic formula, where they can go on beautifully with your finger or a brush. That is the like only kind of metallic that I like, because I don't like to apply with my finger because I like it to be like a little bit more precise whenever I do eye looks. So yeah, I'm actually like really pleasantly surprised with this palette, and I would definitely recommend it to you guys. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys plan on picking up this palette. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. So I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Also make sure you guys have your notifications turned on. That way you don't miss out on any of my future videos. All you have to do is click the bell next to the subscribe button, and then you'll receive a notification every time I upload a new video. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.